So you were a pro player during the Wild West.
Yes.
Where there are no laws,
Yes.
no regulations.
Yes.
What's the most fucked up thing you saw? Like, whether it's like financial abuse, verbal abuse.
Here's the best one. Okay. I left the dig house, okay?
Dignitas.
Yes, yeah. Dignitas house. And before I left, I was like, here's all the numbers you have to call. Take me off of your like the utilities, because I was the one paying utilities, because they didn't pay rent.
So the players paid for.
It was only 2 teams had players pay rent. We were one of them. I think Dig was the last team to not pay rent. Okay. Mm-hmm. So first of all, that's kind of fucked. But let's move a little bit past that. I left, and as I'm looking for a new apartment to live at, okay, I had to sleep at High's apartment for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to apartment complexes, and I'm like doing applications. They're like, sorry, sir, we can't accept you. They just pushed me away. I'm like, what's up? He's like, your credit score is too low. I'm like, that's impossible. Mm-hmm. And I go and check. My credit score is down almost 80 or 90 points because they never took me off the utility bill. So what ended up happening was they accrued a $500 bill, closed the account, and restarted another account in their name. So my account never got paid off. And I was just like, what the fuck happened? And it sucked because I was trying to find an apartment then. I only found one because at the time I knew someone who knew someone whose mom was the person managing the real estate. And I was like, please vouch for me. I have the money. I just need my credits. I promise I'll pay I think I had to pay 3 or 4 months up front just to get the spot.
So when you moved out that Dignitas, was it an apartment or a house?
It was a house, a full house. The rent was paid through my bank account, I think.
Why is it not paid through the organization?
Because...
So they made you, an individual player on their team, pay for rent directly, and they pay through you.
The best part is, on top of that, they also used our place as an Airbnb. So when big events like E3 was happening or any of that, they wouldn't pay for hotels for their staff. They would just house them at our house. Doesn't fucking matter if we're playing LCS that week, which we were, or any of that shit. They would just stay at our house. And I'd be like, what the fuck is this? But
the players are paying for the rent.
Yes. But the team is also using it as it's free Airbnb. We have a house. So they'll just sleep on the floor there. So we'd have 2 or 3 people in the living room. I remember we had 2 people in the living room, and one of them snored really loud. Good times, good fucking times.
So what's the team paying? Your salary?
The team is paying the LCS salary plus $1,000.
$1,000?
Yes, but realistic, our rent is $2,000 or $3,000 a month for living in the house. So I left Dignitas almost broke. I streamed 29 days out of 30 because I was under $1,000 in my bank account the day I left Dig, or the month I left Dig.
And when you left, you still your name was still on the utilities bill.
Yeah, good times, good times.
Did they use the house after you left?
Yeah, it was for their next team. They used the same house.
Oh, it's the same house, but your name was on there for a while.
Yeah, on the utilities. One utility for a while. They got me off everything but the electricity, I think.
Got it. Yeah, life back then must have been pretty crazy because there's no rules on what you can do and how you can treat players, right?
You know the craziest thing? Uh-huh. I think it's okay to say this now because I've told you this.
I love it when someone says, I think I can say this.
I've told you this in secret. I don't know if this is actually true. Uh-huh. So I was told by people who were staff at Dignitas that they allegedly were secretively watching us or listening to us overseas. So they would be in a Discord call group. I think at the time it was called TeamSpeak. They would use TeamSpeak and have their private channel and listen or watch us. As I think they installed TeamViewer on our living room PC. I don't know how accurate this is, but I was told under good faith that this was something that actually happened while I was at Dig.
At Dignitas.
Yes.
Wow, I'm surprised you're comfortable saying it because they're trying to make a comeback in the league scene, right? Do they have an LCS team?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, they do.
Right now?
But I don't this management, their management
completely different.
Yeah, their management's completely different.
Got it.
You know? So it's
Has Dignitas ever tried to reach out and say, "Hey, sorry, back then we were kind of cringe"?
I don't think they thought it was a problem. Like a lot of it, they were just like, "Oh, it just happens. It's like part of the process." I actually think Dignitas was the weirdest, strangest org I've ever been a part of. I think a lot of their upper management were not paid. They're paid in the promise that when they sell, they would get money. But like, imagine like your structure if like you have to pay interns in mouse pads, realistically mouse pads or hoodies, and then move on to like kind of a paid position later, but still maybe unpaid. And then their upper management wasn't getting paid. So it was just like, I think they were just really good at managing sponsor relationships. OD in particular, the managed like Alienware, all these relationships for such a long time that they fooled, I think, the people who ever bought them, the 76ers, into like, they got the sale. Once they got the sale, I was like, fuck, it worked out for them. They're fucking geniuses. But beforehand, I was like, this company seems a little weird.
Yeah, that's the Overwatch League strategy where they approach big investors and give them numbers that are definitely not accurate, get paid millions of dollars, and when these big investors pull off esports for life because of how shitty it was, it's like, what'd you expect? You kind of got snake oiled.
I think their big thing was like they had 56 teams in 50 different countries. Like they always say that, but it's like they have like a Trackmania team in Europe, or like a team in like, I don't know, Africa doing like one FPS game, or like a team over here. It's like, technically that's true, but it sounds way more grand.
Yeah, and these investors, they're not going to do their research. It's like, what do you mean exactly? They're like, 56 teams, 50 countries. These guys are crazy, international.
Right? Yeah.
They're worldwide. And then they put money in and they don't get the return they expect.
To be fair, I think that like Dig wasn't the only team this was like true for, in the terms of like, they would hype up their teams. Every team does this, right? Yeah. But behind the scenes, like there were a lot of bad things that happened for all the teams. Like there's not a single team I can think of where like they did well. It was just problem after problem after problem after problem after. It was the Wild West.